guys. Thanks for joining. Oh, hi, Doreen. Doreen, lucky thing, is off to Thailand tonight to go scuba diving. And my sister-in-law, Joy, who's also in our team, is on her way to Portugal tonight. So they are boarding any second. Oh, I guess in an hour, she said. Yeah, so exciting. And then there's us in the cold in Ontario. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to switch down to my desk, and this is what we're going to be making tonight. Now, I had done I'm pretty sure I did a video on these a few years ago when I first started sort of playing with um, YouTube videos. I may have one of these. I know I did do it as part of a class, but I think I did do one of these videos. I'll have to go back and check. But I saw this on YouTube today and I thought, oh my goodness, I haven't made one of these in ages. And I actually made a bunch of these for my daughter's bridal shower. And we filled it with candy and all kinds of things. And she's been married for hmm, over 5 years now. So that's how long ago that was. So anyway, yeah, so these are what we're going to make today. Aren't they cute? So they're so easy that it's scary how easy they are. So all you need really is a piece of cardstock that's 8.5 by 5.5, and 2 pieces of designer series paper that are 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So let me get these over here, and I'm just going to grab my trimmer. And the key is the Catherine says, do you want to make some of those for my craft show Saturday? Yeah, are you going to come and pick them up? So the key to this is the scoring. So on the 5.5 inch side, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch, and I'm using this side of the scoring part just because it's easier to deal with the paper. If it's on this side, I don't have to struggle with it hanging off the edge here. So I just have to fix my computer. There's something here. There. Okay. So I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch on this side. Then I'm going to rotate it around and I'm going to score it at 1 inch on the other side. Okay. Easy so far, right? And then I'm going to score it at 4 inches, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch from the far edge, and that'll be like at the 8-inch line. I could pull this out and just go to 8 inches, but I don't need to because I know the paper is 8.5 inches, so I can just do 1/2 inch on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 8 inches, or my 1/2 inch on the edge. And then in here, so I'm going to take it to 2 inches, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit because I want you to see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my cutting blade, and I'm going to cut just to the first score line that's at 1 inch. And I'm at the 2-inch mark. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring my blade up to the 1-inch mark. Then I'm going to go to 4 inches. And that's where we scored. And I'm going to go up again to the 1-inch mark. And then I'm going to go to 6 inches. And the same thing, I'm going to go up to the 1-inch mark. And then I'm going to go to 8 inches. And just on that score line, I'm going to cut it. And actually, I don't need to because I'm going to cut that off anyway, but I'll just go ahead and do it. So 8 inches. So I'm going to go up to the 1-inch score line. So we don't need the trimmer anymore, but what we do need is a ruler and our scoring tool on your take a pick tool. So let me zoom a tiny bit out. because I still want you to see what I'm doing. Now I'm on a neoprene mat here. So what you might want to do is grab your Stampin' Pierce mat and use this so that you have a soft platform. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, right at the score line, at the 1/2 inch score line, I'm going to draw a score mark from that 1/2 inch mark to this 1 inch mark where my fold is. Okay. So I'm going to just create like a triangle. So I'm going to put my scoring tool there and I'm going to line my ruler up right at that score line in the corner. So I'm just going to score. And then I'm going to turn my ruler and do the same thing from here to this corner. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and score. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going from this score line to this score line where we've cut it at the, so there'd be 2, 4, 6. This would be the 6 inch cut mark up into that corner. And I'm just going to score. And then we're going to go ahead and score to that far corner again, not all the way through, but just to where the 2 score lines meet. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and line that up. And just score it like that. So you can see I have a big W there. And then I've got my side panel here. So I'm going to, so let's prepare our base. And I do have a template here and I'm going to actually draw it out in Canva or something and put it on my website. So what I need to do now is just trim away this portion right here. So I'm going to cut out this little corner and I'm just going to wedge this just a smidgen on this corner here. And then if you didn't go all the way to your 1 inch mark when you were using your cutting blade, you can just go in and complete that little cut if you need to, but I was pretty close. So I'm okay. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish my score marks. So the top one, I'm going to fold towards me and just burnish that down. And then the rest of them, I'm going to fold towards the mountain side as if you were folding a card base. I'm going to do the 1/2 inch one and then the 4 inch one. And then these score lines on the V, I'm just going to do by hand because I don't want to damage my corner here. So I'm just going to squish it in. And then just go this way. And then like this. Whoop. And then like this. So easy, right? Okay. So there's our box. So I'm going to take some tear and tape and I'm going to just put it right across that score line right there. And I'm going as close to the score line as I can without going over it. So there we go. And then on this one, I'm going to go into the second panel and then the last panel with some tear and tape. And I'm just going to put 2 strips down to hold it well. And there we are. So simple. And the next thing we need to do is we're going to take our 3 3/4 inch squares. So I'm going to mark this at 1 7/8, which is half of 3 3/4. So I have both of them together. Now, if they're directional, you want to make sure that they're facing in the right direction. You don't want one up and one down. You want them facing up, okay? So I'm using the Country Floral Lane paper, which is absolutely beautiful. And I had a hard time choosing the papers because they are just so pretty. I'm just going to show you what the colors are. So to Catherine, if you wanted these for your craft sale, they whip up so quickly, it's crazy. So look at this. How pretty is that? With little hearts on it. So Valentine's Day is over, but you could do this for birthdays, showers, almost anything. They're so pretty. So, so pretty. That also has little blue hearts on the side. And this is the one that we're using. And it's got a stripe on that side. And look at how cute that is. Where's that one I made? This is the one made with the little bicycles. So pretty. And then the back of that is a blue stripe. And then we have this green floral with the little pink hearts. And then this heart with little hearts and kisses on the back. Isn't that cute? This is beautiful paper. When I first saw it in the catalog, I was like, meh, I don't know about that. It wasn't calling my name, but once I got it from my paper share and I started cutting it up, it was like, this is just so pretty. All right. I'm just going to move that so it doesn't all topple on the floor here. Okay, so what I need to do is I'm going to mark, make sure they're both facing the same way, and I'm going to mark the top one at 1 7/8. So let me move that to 1 7/8. And I'm just going to put a little pencil mark right in the groove here. I'm just going to put a little pencil mark right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from the top right corner to the pencil mark. I'm just going to place those there, and then I'm going to rotate it a little bit and do the top left corner to the pencil mark. Now, I don't want to start at the corner because unless your blade is extremely fresh and brand new, you could wrinkle your corners. So when I am dealing with a corner like this, I quite often will start in the middle and then go back and then do it that way so that I'm not dealing with crumpled corners. So this is going to go here like this. And then these corners are going to go here. So simple. All right, so let's glue these babies in. I'm going to start with my big one. You don't want to be heavy-handed with the glue because the last thing you need is oozy glue on a box like this. So I'm just going to place that right in the middle. They're so cute. All right. So how's everybody dealing with this weather? I was supposed to go out and help a quilter friend of mine today, but the weather was so poopy this morning, I decided it wasn't worth ending up in the ditch on the 401. So I stayed home. And I finally got the binding on my quilt. Now I just have to sit and hand stitch it. That is not my favorite job. I do not like doing that. But once it's done, I can put it on my bed. So what I did was I had bought one of those huge, oh hi Doreen, I didn't see you there. One of those huge comforters with the really thick double high loft batting. And it was so hot. And you know how it's like a duvet. If the duvet doesn't lay flat, it starts to bunch up in the corners. And because I'm a quilter, it drove me nuts probably more than it would normally. So what I ended up doing was I sat one afternoon and watched a movie and picked my comforter apart. It was a comforter that I had bought at a bedding store. So I picked it all apart, and then I am a long arm quilter, so I put it on my frame and I quilted it. but I haven't been able to find the right glue to do the binding. So I ended up today, I just broke down and made white binding, which isn't ideal because I have two black cats, but I just thought I can't live with it anymore without having binding on it. So I trimmed it up, put the binding on it. Now I just have to hand sit for a couple of nights and sew the hand binding. But today's the perfect day to do that because the weather has just been so awful. What am I looking for? Okay, so I've got my take your pick tool, and I'm going to go ahead and lift the backing off of this, and I'm going to just fold it over. And when you're putting this together like this, you want to make sure that your score marks on the sides line up, because this is going to be a box and mine do not. So here, hold on. All right, so I'm lining up my score lines and my edges. Perfect. So there's our little box. And now we're going to do the back. So I'm going to push down take off a layer of the backing here. And I'm going to push these down, but what I want to do when I put this together is you want to line up this raw edge with this raw edge. See, raw edge, I'm talking like a quilter. You want to make sure that your edges, your sides are lined up so that when it's actually a box, it is a square on the bottom. There we go. And then this side, same thing. Oh, this one's not square. Here, hold on. There. Okay, and I'm going to flip it over and open it up. And I'm just going to take the bottom of my bone folder and just burnish that down. And there's our little box. Isn't that so stinking cute? All right, so now for the front, I'm going to use the circle framey thing from the Painted Labels. I reorganized my craft room this afternoon a little bit, so I have to reach now for stuff that used to be right beside me. So on the mini, which by the way, you still have a couple of hours if you want to get one of these, all you have to do is sign up with Stampin' Up! As a demonstrator. You can sign up to join the Critters'n, oh, this isn't big enough, the Critters'n Inc. Critters'n Creativity Group. And there's no pressure to be like a right out, flat out demonstrator. You can just be a discount shopper and enjoy the benefits of being a discount shopper. With being a demonstrator for Stampin' Up, you get 20% off all of your purchases, minimum. And then you also get to pre-order things ahead of everybody by a month. So when this was being announced as a starter kit benefit for January, February, we were able to order this in December. And the only other way to get one is to actually join Stampin' Up. So that's one of the perks of being a demonstrator, is that these things come to you. They're available to you to purchase if you like them. All right, so I'm popping this out. And out you go. I just love this die, and I don't use it half enough, and I hope they don't retire it with the new catalog in May, because I love it. Well, I mean, if they do, I've already got one. So if you like this die set, you might want to think about getting it out of the annual catalog before the catalog retires, because I have no idea if it's going to carry over. And then I'm going to take a piece of scrap white, which I just had in my hot little hands here. And I'm going to take, or maybe I'll use No, I'm going to use this. Okay, I'm going to take the Oh Happy Day from Playing in the Rain. Oh Happy Day. I know, don't quit your day job. And I'm going to stamp that in. Let's see, what color will I use? Sweet Sorbet, I think. I think if I was to do it mint macaron, it might be a little bit boring. So we're going to do it in Sweet Sorbet. Beautiful. And I'm going to use the Stylish Shapes. This has to be the best die set ever. I use this probably more than anything any of the other dies I have. So I'm going to use the third one from the middle, third smallest one, and I'm just going to pop that through the die cutter here. But I'm just going to cut this out a little bit because it's not going to fit through the mini cutter. That's the only thing with the mini cutter, is that it's good for mini cutting. If you have bigger dies or bigger paper, then you can use the larger one. All right, so just gonna put that on here and pop that on here. Beautiful. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this right onto here. Oh, I just think this is so cute. Love it. Love it. And then the Oh Happy Day, I'm going to pop it right on here, but I'm going to put it on dimensionals. I thought I had some regular size dimensionals here, but these will do. Some little minis. So Doreen, what time is your flight? Midnight? Doreen is going scuba diving in Thailand. Lucky thing. And there we go. Isn't that so cute? So let me find some embellishments. So these are the 2022 to 24 matte decorative dots. And I love the Sweet Sorbet. So I'm going to use my Take a Pick tool. And I'm just going to I'm going to grab the darker one. I'm going to pop that right there. And a little one here. Oops. And let's see. There, how stinking cute is that? So you could just pop this, put some chocolates. I have some chocolates over here. Just fill this up with some candies for your grandkids. Just don't freeze, Catherine. And there, you can throw some candies in there, whatever, and a gift card. And there's your little treat box. And then I was looking at this paper today, which I've had for a while, and I haven't dug it out yet. It's called the Naturally Gilded, and it comes like on a white with silver, and then this is white with, I think it's copper, but it kind of almost looks like a rose gold. And there's the white with silver again. And then here's the berry vanilla with the gold. That's so pretty. And what else? Oh, just another white and the copper and the white, or the berry vanilla and the gold. So I dug out a piece of the basic gray. So I'm going to go ahead and use this and make another little box. So my basic gray. Let's get rid of some of this. So I didn't really think this one out too much, except that I really like this, the gilded part of it. So I thought, well, I'm going to use the silver, and I could have done the copper and very vanilla too. That's really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and score this at a 1/2 inch on the top again. Catherine says, I can't wait to see what else is going to be offered tomorrow on the online exclusives. That's right. I had forgotten about that. So tomorrow, March the 1st of 2023, Stampin' Up! Is offering online exclusive products, meaning you can't get them anywhere else but online at Stampin' Up! So I'll have a link to my online store that you can go and check, and hopefully we'll have a list of things that we can post that you can have check it out and see what's going on there. So I'm going to score this at 4 inches. So I've been talking and not telling you what I'm doing. So I scored this at a 1/2 inch. Then I turned it around and I scored it at 1 inch. So now I'm going to turn it around again so that it's horizontal, and I'm scoring it at 4. I almost hit the blade, the cutting blade. Score it at 4, and then I'm going to score it at 8. So I can bring this up to 8. Now what I could do is just take it to 1/2 inch on this side, because it's 8.5 inch paper, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to score it again. So I've scored it at 4 and at 8. And now I'm going to take this over, and I'm going to move the side to the 2 inch mark. And I'm going to take my cutting blade, which is the dark one, and I'm going to go just to that line. And if you look at this cutting blade, can I get it out? Yeah. So if you look at the cutting blade, let me just change my focus here. You can see there's a little, oh, hi Donna, how are you? There's a little line here that you're going to line up with the ruler on your cutting blade, or I'm just actually lining up this line with my scoring line here. So let me pop this back in. These blades are replaceable when they get dull. Okay, so I'm lining this up at 2 inches, and I'm going to cut right to that score line. Then I'm going to move it over to 4, and I'm going to do the same thing. Just trim it right up to that score line. And then I'm going to move it to 6. And when you push here, this, if your arm is tucked in, this edge is your 6 inch edge. So you just push it right up against that. And same thing, make sure it's snug across the top. And I'm going to push this blade right to that score line. And then I'm going to cut that 1/2 inch. So I'm going to line it up at the 1/2 inch here. Or I could just use my scissors and cut it off. But since I'm here, I'm going to do it. So I'm just taking it right up to the score line. So there I have my score marks. All right, so I'm going to score from this corner to this cut line. So I'm going to go ahead, and as I said, I'm using a neoprene placemat. But if you don't have one, definitely I would recommend you using your Stampin' Pierce mat. And I just have paper in here for when I stamp on it, so because I don't want to dirty up my Stampin' Piercinets because I use them in my classes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to score that. You want to be firm, but be careful. You don't want to go through your paper either. And I'm going to do the same thing from the center out to this outside corner. I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'm inside this score line, right at the point where the two score lines meet. So I'm right there, and I'm coming down to where we cut at the 2-inch mark. So I'm going to score, oops, from there. And then again from this point to the score line. So it's so easy. It's just a piece, half a piece of a full cardstock sheet, 8.5 by 5.5, and there you have it. It's so easy. And then for my designer series paper, I'm going to cut 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut 3 3/4, and you need 2 of them. 3 3/4. Good luck at the game, Catherine. Her son is playing hockey tonight. So 3 3/4. And I'm going to mark at 1 7/8. I'm just going to take a pencil and I'm going to just place a little mark right at the 1 7/8 point. And then I've got my 2 pieces together, and they are directional, so I've got them facing in the same direction. And I'm putting this top right corner into the groove where the blade goes, and then my 1 7/8 mark is also going in the groove. Okay, so I'm putting it like this. And again, it's on the point, so I don't want to start cutting on the point so I don't crimp my corner. So I just went down a little bit and then all the way back. And then I'm just going to rotate my paper and put the top left corner to that 1 7/8 mark. And same thing, I'm going to start in the middle. And there I have my pieces for my box. All right, so we can go ahead and glue these. I could burnish this, but I'll wait until the gluing is done. There. Oh my God, look at how pretty that is. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and burnish our folds. All right, so I've got my bone folder, and I'm just going to push the top one towards me, and I'm just going to burnish that fold. And then these bottom ones, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to fold the bottom. This is the bottom of our box, and I'm folding them towards the inside. And then this little guy, I'm just going to cut it right off, and I'm just going to slightly miter that corner. So we don't need that. And then first thing I'm going to do is fold this down the center at the 4-inch mark. And you want to line up your score lines at the top when you're burnishing. So I'll go ahead and burnish that down. And then on these, I'm just going to gently fold with my hands. You don't necessarily have to burnish these ones, but you can, I guess, as long as you don't damage this little corner here. So I'll go ahead and fold that down. These are really pretty if you have like a bridal shower or a birthday party or anything. They're just so cute. And then this one I'm going to fold towards the inside, this 1/2 inch. And definitely you want to burnish that one because that's your closing of your box. And I'm going to take my tear and tape and just line that up right against, but not over the score line. And I'm going right to the very top. And then in here along the bottom. Okay, so that's all there is to it. Now I'm just going to burnish my tear and tape a little bit to make sure it's good and stuck. And take your pick tool. And I'm going to do the side one first and bend it over, and then I'm going to fold this over and create my box. And again, I'm making sure that I line up my top score marks there. There we are. And then we're going to create our box here. So let's go ahead and pull the backing off of this tear and tape here. There, so again, I'm lining my raw edges up to the sides of the box, and I'm just going to push through with my bone folder to make sure they're stuck. And there we are. There's our bottom, and there's our top. And grab a scrap. And again, I'm going to use this fabulous die. It's funny, when these dies first came out, I used them all the time, and then I kind of forgot about them. And I rediscovered them today, and I'm like, why am I not using these? They're so cute. All right, so here's my little cutter. I'm just going to give this a trim so that it'll fit inside. All right, so I'm going to pop this in here. So on the little cutter, you need the base plate number 1 and 2 cutting plates number 2. You can see these are well loved. So I'm going to pop this in here like this. That just fits in there. And I'm going to pop my second number 2 plate right on top there and just run it through. All right, so get this done. Now, if you have the add-on brush for your take your pick tool, that will pop out all of those extraneous little bits out of your die and help release the die from the paper as well. There, oh my goodness, how cute. Okay, so that looks nice. That on with glue. Missed a couple of pieces here. Let's get those out. There we are. Out you go. There. Okay, and then a scrap of the basic white for a sentiment. And should we use the same sentiment again? Oh, happy day? We could. It'd be like a wedding. Oh, happy day. Like a little wedding. Silver foil sentiment on the black would be nice too. Yeah. And you know what? If I had pre-thought of it, I could have used my cutting dies for some of the words that we have and done that, but I didn't. So, but yeah, definitely silver foil on a sentiment on the black. Just do it in memento, I guess. It's pretty dark. That's pretty good. Okay. So let me give this a trim so it'll fit in the cutting machine. All right. Yeah, more coming. That's what Doreen said. So that looks nice. I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. And what did I do? Here's my little dimensionals. I do have a sheet of large ones on this mess of a table somewhere. However, we know how that goes. All right. Okay, so that's going to go on right here. And sentiment or my embellishments here. I think I'm just going to use the rhinestones on this one. That's because it's so shiny and pretty. Let's go ahead and pop some rhinestones right on there. Oh, I like this. And there we go. So easy and so fun. And just load that up with candy or a gift card, whatever you like. So, so, so cute. So I will post the products that I used when I post this to YouTube. I will make a list and post the products that I've used if you're interested in seeing what products I have used. I'll show you right now, though. I did use Playing in the Rain for my sentiment, and the Rhinestone Basic Jewels. They're always available in the annual catalog. This is in the January to April mini. And then I used the Stylish Shapes die, which is this little circle, for the sentiment. And then this one, the Painted Labels die, which coordinates with the Painted Poppy stamp set. And that is in the annual catalog as well. So there you have it. Here's our fabulous little project, all the ones that I've done today. And then one I did a few years ago for my daughter's bridal shower. So aren't they sweet? I hope you make some. They're so fun. Thanks for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. And I am hopefully getting the hang of this software. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.